following is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln and online at merealty.com.
Yeah.
Not necessarily which trophy you got, but the fact that you're here, you got a trophy. There are 228 teams that start this 3 weeks ago, and you're one of the 4 there, you know, and to be able to do it back to back and get another chance and know that we're not done, that we're going to get another shot again and again and again, because that's who we are. We're going to reload, we're going to rebuild, and we're going to refocus and come back. You know, to my 2 seniors behind me and Addie to the left, I mean, it's been phenomenal. I've had them since they've been born. I mean, it's unbelievable what Hartsburg-Emden volleyball does and the relationships that I get with these girls. But they're smart. I mean, they're smart, and they're going to be just phenomenal people. They're going to be awesome leaders. They do student council, you know, they do class president. They are what the United States is made of, right? This is what you want. You want strong women. That's what our program does. We not only build athletes, but we build leaders. And these girls are the top notch, and they're going to do phenomenal in years to come.
That is our very own Hartsburg-Emden volleyball coach, Jennifer Hayes. Welcome to Viewpoint, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
So 30 years you've been the coach there. And on top of that, you're a student, you're a graduate of Hartsburg-Emden. So
yes, it seems like yesterday, and 30 years all wrapped up in one. It just goes by so fast.
How did you get your love? I guess we'll just dive into, you know, this is your life, this is your history sort of thing. How did you get your love and your passion, you know, for volleyball? Who has played a part in your volleyball career leading up to where you are now?
Well, growing up in my family, we were very athletic, trying to follow my brother everywhere, playing basketball and baseball out front. Volleyball was really pretty new at that point, and really the final part of that passion for me was in 1982. I was a 3rd grader, and Hartsburg-Emden volleyball was their first trip to state, and I remember it was at Springfield, and we had the fan buses, and everybody was chanting, and we were all in the lobby in the convention center for the girls, and that whole experience really just changed my life. I knew that that's what I wanted. I knew that's what I wanted to be a part of, and I knew that that was tradition that I wanted to be continued throughout my whole life. I loved it, every part of that.
And that coach was Lisa Miller.
Lisa Miller, and I have her granddaughter on the team.
Ooh.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. So, and you know, we do, you know, laugh and joke about it. I know it's not just me. You know, there's the baby fans, and you know, you're going and everything. But take us from how has volleyball evolved? You know, it used to be you played volleyball, then you played, you know, soccer or whatever, and, you know, like we were saying, this club volleyball was not around. You didn't play, or, you know, baseball year-round, these traveling sports. So
right.
How do you think it's evolved? Has it gotten better for the sports for the kids or not? Or do they need to
There's
take a
two
break?
sides of that fence. When I first started, I remember my parent meeting right there in 1995, and we were in the cafeteria, and I was talking to the parents, and really club ball was just a blink. I played down at Sacred Heart Springfield my junior and senior year, and that was like it for around here. And nobody really thought about it. Quack Attack had just started up in Bloomington, and my husband Aaron Hayes was like, Jennifer, this is going to be a difference maker. This is going to change what you know volleyball to be, and we need to get on this train. And so we started playing. It was minimal, right? Like they played a couple times a week and maybe 3 or 4 tournaments, and that was it. And now, 30 years later, it is volleyball, or it is soccer, or it is baseball. Like, for the kids that really want to go on and have a chance to play at big levels, they have to play travel, which I don't know. There's both parts of that coin. I think it's awesome for those that love it so much that they want to do it, but it also pigeonholes them into something very specific. And I think there's something to be said about the all-around athlete that gets to play basketball in the fall and gets to play volleyball and then gets to play track and then gets to play anything that they want to do. One, I think it's better physically for them to play other sports. It just becomes so many reps on their knees and their shoulders. But the reality is, to be able to compete at the level that we compete at, you got to have them concentrated on at least one sport for most of the time.
I mean, it truly is. There's pros and cons to both sides. Everyone can argue, that obviously. And, but I mean, you do host now, some summer, I don't want to say practices or what, or what do you do exactly?
So for what used to be, here's my season and here's a week of camp, now it goes from high school volleyball, right from August 10th to now. 10 days later, I start junior high volleyball, and then we have overnight slumber camps for my little girls from kindergarten to 5th to get them excited about it in the first week of December. And then you're running high school club with an expansion club that I have for those that and let's just be honest, aren't tall enough to play major club. If you're going to go to major club, they want tall girls. If you're not 5'10" or above, they're just not going to make the high-level teams. And at that point, what's happening is they're going into expansion teams that aren't as experience is what I can provide. So then starting last year, I brought it back to my local so that my girls and those that are around us can be a part of something and really learn at the high level. My son Alec Hayes coaches that, and so it is, just a feeder into the Lincolns and Illini Central and Delavan kids that maybe not have a chance at Shock or Top Notch or Illini Elite, but still get great volleyball knowledge through the winter before they play softball. We only go so. And
they're still green.
We need to develop those players, and if they don't have a shot, because honestly, there's only so many great coaches out there, right? So if you have a Illini Elite, for instance, their top ones are fantastic, absolutely. But once you start getting into 12 other expansion, how many experienced coaches do you have? So you get the reps, but do you actually get the knowledge? So I brought that back home. So then that's added to my level. So I'm running that at the same time that I'm running my junior high girls. And then after junior high is over, I start my mini club. So that's kindergarten through 8th grade. And they'll run basically the same week of my junior high state tournament. Little bitty club starts, and that is for all the areas. So I've got girls from Illini Central, Midwest Central. I get girls from Morton. They all come in. Last year, I think I had 86 girls coming into Hartsburg-Emden.
Wow.
And I had 10 different teams from kindergarten to 8th. And then that lasts until the first weekend of May, and then I get about 14 days, and then we start open gyms and camps for my high school, and away we go again. So there's not much break.
So for being there at Hartsburg-Emden, and you mentioned you are basically coaching all the way from kindergarten all the way up to high school, but that is Hartsburg-Emden. And do you see that with some other programs? Are you able to do that because Hartsburg-Emden is smaller, as compared to, and I'm not picking it on, but let's say Peoria or Bloomington, you don't see or hear of those high school coaches coming down and, offering programs. Maybe they do, shame on me if they do, but, coming down and offering programs all the way through kindergarten level. I mean, really, you're just not a high school coach.
Right. I am the coach.
You are the coach there, the volleyball coach at Hartsburg-Emden, period.
And that that really does go.
We have Mabel.
She wants my coffee.
Mabel wants some coffee. So.
Girl. Yes, I think that is a very big perk of having a small community, that it's not only about the sport but the relationships, right? By being at Emden Elementary with my kindergartners through 5th grade every day, they want to be a part of that. They want to play volleyball, and they want to be with me, right? So I try to make it exciting, and I try to make it fun with the overnight slumber camps and stuff. So that feeds into that. And so in order to be successful when you have a high school of 52 kids, you have to have buy-in. You have to have them want to be there and put in the effort and dedication it needs to be able to compete with schools that have 297 kids. And let's be honest, I can go to Quincy High, I beat them. They have 3,000 kids.
Right.
Like, it's mind-blowing, actually, if you look at it on paper. But it is not due to numbers, but quality and reps and wanting to put in everything to be winners. And that's what I try to help them become the best version of themselves. And I don't think you can get that at a bigger school because you can't reach all of the feeder schools, right? So there might be 3 or 4 elementary schools that go into so many different junior highs that go into you can't physically be a part of all that. So that's something unique with Hartsburg-Emden.
Well, also, too, you mentioned you're doing the sleepovers. You're building relationships, and let's face it, and girls, nothing against girls, but, everybody has a different personality.
Oh, yes.
And,
oh, yes.
And learning how to actually be a team before they even step on the court. Everybody has their highs, everybody has their lows. People make mistakes. There's the forgiveness. So you truly are building a team even before they step on that court with a volleyball in their hand.
Yes.
And that's, core of, and they get to learn, obviously you're teaching that to them, their little quirks or perks, and
right.
You're building better people, Jen.
Oh, thank you.
No, seriously,
I
you really are.
try. Like, that's what I say anytime people ask me about my volleyball program and what do I want from my team. I want my girls to be good people, right? My job as an educator and a mentor and a coach is to not only give them success on the court, but success outside of the court. I still have most, if not all, of my players reaching out when I make the state tournament. They might be 40 years old now, right? And they're still, good luck, coach. We wish you the best. I remember it. I remember being there. They're at ISU watching us. And it's just continual, right? It is those relationships, and it feeds in from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. And it's that tie-in. So I have my little bitties at camp, but my junior high girls work it. So then all my littles get to be mentored by my high school, by my junior high. And then my junior high camps, they're being coached by my high schoolers. That's mandatory for them to come and work with the junior high. And then so it just feeds in one. And then I have alumni coming into my open gyms to work with my high schoolers. It's just one after another, that it is a continual family of 30 years of volleyball.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we were talking before we went on the air. You're up there at Redbird Arena. The girls had, their first match. They won that set, and phenomenal. But they may have got a little stage fright.
Yeah,
and nothing against it. I mean, that's a whole
it's tough. It's really tough. From the outside in, it looks like we make it seem easy, and it's not. I mean, being there in those lights and in the crowd in that moment is not only the ability to physically play the game, but to mentally finish a game. And that's growth, right? That's leadership, that is determination, and that's internal. And that is, as a coach, the hardest thing to teach, right? I can teach the skills, and I work every day at the mental part of the game, but that's something that we've got to build on, and they know that. You go out and really destroy a team 25-12, and then come back in the huddle. And I'm not taking anything away from Stockton, because Stockton was a great ball club. And I would say of all the state tournaments I've been at so far, this year the Final Four was as even as it was going to get. Everybody had strengths and weaknesses, but I knew anybody could win it.
Right.
But I also know anybody could be fourth. Sometimes there's that one outlier that you're like, oh my gosh, everybody's chasing them. Or one that's like, wow, how did they get here? But this wasn't the year. Like, this was, everybody had to play the whole entire time. And we did play that first set, and we're on it, and we're ready to go. And then Stockton settled down, and made a game plan, and then it took us off of our rhythm, right? And then I think we got a little bit complacent. I think we got a little bit scared. And then you start playing not to lose, and then you're careful, and then things start falling wrong, and then we start questioning it, then you start hesitating, and then it's just a roller coaster, right? And we just couldn't outlast it.
And you said in one of your speeches to the girls, remember in what was it, 2006, and what was their response back to you?
Oh, yeah, because in our gym we have all our banners and our pictures, and they're like, how can we get that picture? We want that great big picture. I said, well, you got to win it all, girls. That's the state championship picture. And I said, you know, they knew how it was, and they knew how to do it, and I said, how old were you? I said, when all that happened. They're like, Coach, we weren't born. I was like, oh my gosh. For me, it was just yesterday, right? But for them, I said my seniors would have been just in the making there that many years ago. But that's crazy. So to be able to get to that level and to finish it is really, really hard. And I know that taking 2 losses, even though it was great games and a great learning experience, the next day they're ready. They're ready to rebuild and figure out what it takes to win it all.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we're going to take a quick time out, pay some bills, and we'll return, folks. We want you to call in. Kudos for Jen, questions for Jen. That's great, 217-648-5510. But first, we'll go to commercial break.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln.
Are you sick and tired of the telephone calls, text messages, and ads in the mail for Medicare open enrollment? Medicare open enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th. Changes made during this time will go into effect January 1, 2025. Feel free to call me, local Medicare agent Dara Entwistle, and set an appointment to go over 2025 changes and plans. My office is in downtown Lincoln, or I can meet with you at your home if you like. Again, call me, Dara Entwistle, your local Medicare agent and your friend in health insurance, 217-651-8046.
Hello, Lincoln and Logan County. This is Chris Grau from Grau Chevrolet Buick in Lincoln. When it comes time to choose someone to repair your car, truck, or SUV, don't you think you'd feel more comfortable working with the local people you know and trust? Our team in service, parts, and detail have the tools, training, and knowledge that will get your repairs done quickly with less downtime and at the right price. Call the local pros at 217-735-4444 at Grau Chevrolet Buick on North Kickapoo Street in Lincoln.
Hi, we're back talking volleyball on WLCN Viewpoint with Coach Jennifer Hayes from the Harlem Stags. Folks, feel free to call in 217-648-5510. I did learn off the air, you've kind of broke it to the Hartem Stag community. You've got 5 years left.
I do. I will be able to retire from teaching in 5 years, and it's just one of those things where you just got to tie it up in a bow, or if you don't make a clean break at that time, I'll never quit.
What if they hold a big rally or do something to try to keep you there on?
I think I'll take a big vacation.
A big long vacation.
I'm tired.
It's well deserving. It really is. Because, before we went to break, you're telling us basically it is all year-round volleyball like you do. You start with the kindergartners and you work your way up through high school. But now that high school's over, you're gearing up for junior high. I mean, and you've had a successful run and many state championships with your junior high teams.
Yes, so we had the state tournament finished on Saturday. The awards banquet was last night, and so was my junior high volleyball mandatory meeting. So we're off and rolling. My club meeting is tonight, so you get about 10 days in between each break to be able to do anything else. I'm going to Disney. I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So we're leaving on Thanksgiving for a little break, but really there just isn't a break. If I'm not actually practicing, I'm planning for the next practice or gearing up for the next season. So junior high starts the Monday after Thanksgiving and then lasts until hopefully mid-March. I got 20 girls coming out, so that's awesome. I think that's all the junior high girls, 5th through 8th, that want to be a part of it. And I've got a great coaching staff, and it's really bizarre though. Like in my mind, it should be flipped because you have high school and you start with that, and then you end on the biggest stage playing the best volleyball of high school, right? And then 10 days later, you said, okay, girls, here's a volleyball. This is how you hold the volleyball. This is how you hold your hands. Mm-hmm. This is where you put your feet. And rather than starting at that, ending at high level 8th, and then continuing with high school, it's like, oh gosh, here we go, right?
Right. So you mentioned your coaching staff. Through the years, you have family that is on your staff now. Mm-hmm. Will that continue when you retire, you think?
My son, Alec, is super into it. He loves it. If you would know from when I started through, I've had a lot of assistants that have been great. And all of them have been former players of mine. A couple in the early years, my cousin Tasha helped me, friend Amy Johnson, Joey Campbell, players that I was played with that was in the area. And then as I did it long enough, my alum would come back and want to be a part of it. So there have been several that I thought that were coming through the ranks that would take over for me, because you always want a predecessor, right? You always want to leave your program in good hands. I mean, I've done this for a long time. I don't want to have it fall apart, and I'm sure everybody here that's in sports have seen great programs die pretty quickly when their coach of many years leaves. They just can't hold the program together. So it's very important to me, and I just knew I still had so much longer to go. They weren't going to stay around that long, right? They went and found their own programs. They went ahead and coached, which I don't blame them. Like, you're going to do that. You don't want to wait 7 more years to have your own when you're ready. So everybody kind of thought that it would be my daughter, right? Like, she went through it. She Division I player at Memphis that would come back and coach with me. And, gosh darn it, she fell in love and went down to Oklahoma. Yeah, she's married and she's 9 hours away. But, Alec and Austin have always been in the gym with me. They help scrimmage and they're part of it and just really fed into that. And Alec is a phenomenal coach. He loves it. He's great at it. He became my club coach, like I said, last year, and he's got it, right? That's something special that takes what it is. And hopefully, God willing, that Hartsburg-Emden's little school lasts long enough to see us all through.
Yeah.
I really think that he'd be willing to take it over and wants to. So So am I completely done? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
You may be the assistant.
I might be the assistant,
roles just
right?
may
The roles
change.
might shift, right? Oh, I don't know. We'll talk about that in 5 years.
So do you keep your same coaching staff then from high school flows into junior high?
Yes.
Then
So we're all a
going
unit.
to- So it's all unit. It just keeps.
Yep, Shauna Fletcher Weatherall. She's had daughters go through it, so she's come in and helped me. And then Jordan Detmers has been with me for a long time. And now I've got Abby Herbert, who is in Anna's class, taking over my 5th and 6th grade team. And we're just a unit. And this has been the longest lasting unit because I think, one, they're local and they're very, very loyal to the program, but also they really have no aspirations to be head coaches, but are great assistant coaches. So together we work out really well.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. So if someone, do you get anybody who calls up and say, we think about moving into Hartsburg-Emden because of the volleyball program? Sometimes that happens in school districts.
Yes, and you got to be very careful because we are very good at what we do, and so you're also under the microscope a lot. And so the IHSA and the IESA, keep very close tabs on schools that, kind of have that murky. So I never reach out and I never respond to anything. I just let things flow. If someone is interested in the district for whatever reason, I just let that pan out. And if it's something that works out, that's great. And if not, but I really have to keep hands off on that.
No, I understand, but that does happen. People are kind of like, we need to go.
We want to be a part of something.
Of a good program, whether it be golf, basketball,
right.
Baseball, what
and
schools
small
got
community, right? Like
yes.
We have a great reputation of a great education with great sports program, one-on-one, great staff, and just a great community. So we do bring in people that maybe come from bigger schools that just don't want that they're not getting what it is a big school has, and they want to come to a small environment that just gives out great education and sports opportunities.
What is the enrollment right now at the high school?
52.
Is 52? That's what I thought they were saying. It was like 52, 53. But still, And then you've got Coach Ron Spencer, who's come back. He's really vitalizing, and rebranding the basketball program.
Yeah, so
there.
Our basketball, obviously, for a while has really struggled. And I know that he's as much a Hartsburg-Emden person as I am, but he was doing great things, at Flanagan and at Hayworth, but was always at the core Hartsburg-Emden, right? He is Mr. HE.
He is Mr.
He
HE.
is, right?
Yes,
and now
yes.
that he's the AD there, he just is really flourishing those other programs as well, and has really brought life back into the basketball program. You have a lot of boys right now that are invested, and there's more of them right now. Like some of the high school classes are smaller, and you're just not having the numbers, and that makes it really hard at any level to be very successful when you have like 4 or 5, right? And just if you're struggling, especially at the high school level, because it's harder than junior high, right? So if you're not getting that success or you're not getting the continuality of coaching, it really makes it hard to invest and get the little ones to do it and do the travel and put in that time, and it just didn't fluctuate into success. And I think he went to a couple games there when he had a break from his own coaching that year when he had some health issues, and it's like, oh, this just is not acceptable, and came back to Hartsburg. And I think the first year, as phenomenal a coach as he is, he didn't get one win and stayed, and now they're over 500 at the junior high level. They're winning big games. They're competitive, and I know that he took them over his 5th graders and his 7th grade team. It has a lot of promise at a good run this year, and I know that they are also playing 8th grade, and they're getting wins, and that just breeds on each other, right?
Because Harlan was very well known for their boys basketball.
Correct.
When we were in high school in the 80s, and and nothing against it, the program or the coaches or the kids, but it goes back. He seems like he's kind of doing the same thing that you're doing, working with them younger, building those relationships off the court before they step onto the court.
Yep, and he takes them to big tournaments, and they go to big camps as a group. He is doing the extra stuff to get the buy-in, right? They go to different states to play big tournaments and then have fun at a water park. They do the meals, they do the team bonding, all the things that make it fun, right? I mean, no matter how much you love a sport, if you just go in and just do the grind every day, it's just not worth it. And it's really not. You got to have fun with it. It's got to matter.
Yeah. So your girls, they've gone on and played college level and have gotten scholarships. And where have they gone from there, in their lives and values? Have you heard from them? How are they doing?
Yep.
Any shout outs you want to mention?
Oh, I've got so many
players.
Like probably my very first scholarship D1 was Molly Meeker Hayes, who is also my sister-in-law now, so that's bizarre. But, she went to Southern and did outstanding things and is a major in accounting at State Farm, is doing great things. And then you just, work your way through. Abby Olson was through my program and then went D1 softball, but still is, within the sport, right, of what the things that they do. And then Anna was my D1, and she's doing, right now, she's working at the AAA LA Dodgers affiliate down there at Oklahoma City. So she's doing great things. Lexi Strange just got married, and she took over Mercer County, and she's doing phenomenal things down there. Kaylee Beekman, who is now married, she took Lincoln to a state championship last year. She played college ball. Adri Vetter took, she just had a baby, but she was head coach and she went and played college. You have Tierney Eves that played. You have
not to put you on the spot.
I know,
but
Izzy Clausen, Avil Clausen, I could go on and on and on. Addie Beekman, who right now is at the national tournament for Parkland. She was Parkland and area freshman of the year. The opportunities that these girls have. Brianna Grabowski went not only to play at JUCO, she went down to Florida and is playing at West Palm. She just finished up her stuff. The opportunities that these girls have to go and play ball at any level and then continue on, and the doors that open is amazing.
And if people, I guess the point I'm making is small schools can and do have wonderful athletes, individuals, be successful later in life with everything. It's not all about how big the school is, like we said. Enrollment's 52, and some people are like, they can't do anything. Wrong.
You can do whatever. I'm going to keep shouting out girls because I don't want to miss anybody. Chloe O'Donohue playing at Eureka. Jordan Detmers played at Eureka. Shauna Weatherall played at Lincoln College. Erin Rankin, Mary Rankin played at Wesleyan. Nicole Boland played at Webster. Megan Bax played at Quincy. Aaron Dial went on and played. I don't want to forget anybody, but there's so many through 30 years. I mean, it's just one after another that we're given opportunities not only to play sports, but also to get college opportunities and an education paid for as well.
So it's kind of circling back to our opening piece of your interview. You're building great women. You are building or help building successful women, no matter what they choose, no matter what career path, whatever it is. You really are building the mind and skill sets with them there at Hartsburg-Emden.
Life is hard, right? And getting through life and being successful is hard. And you're sheltered in high school. You're kind of even sheltered in college. But when you get out there and you have to make it on your own, especially as a woman in this workforce, it's tough. And you have got to have the backbone, and you've got to have thick skin, and you have to understand what challenges are, and you have to understand what it is to stand up for yourself and be able to break through those ceilings that society has put on you, to fight for what's right and to fight for women and equal opportunities in the workforce. And that's what I continually try to get them to do.
Oh, it's wonderful. Lloyd, you got anything for Coach Hayes?
Well, you talked about how it's more than just a team, it's a family affair, and you talked about some of your assistant coaches and your family helping out in that regard. You've also, if I'm correct, you've got a statistician / scorekeeper on your staff that is sort of a big part of your not only volleyball family, but your family.
Yeah, my dad. Love my dad. He's my biggest supporter, obviously, and then he's been there through all of it. He would be the one mainly taking me to my club ball when I was a junior. We're driving to Chicago, we're driving to St. Louis. Mom's there too, obviously, but Dad and I just, we have a real connection. You talk about your daddy's girl, that's me. He is my biggest fan, but always my toughest critic. Sometimes I have to say, Dad, I know, I know. But to be able to bring him with me and go to all the games and be at the state tournament and be sitting behind me, like I mentioned last night, that Dad went through some health issues starting last March, and I just didn't know what that future would bring. And the fact that he was able to work through that and get healthy again and do all the stuff needed to do to be able to come to my games and be at the state tournament and sit behind me means the world to me.
No, well, we're proud of you. We are. We're proud of the girls. We're proud of the program, and like I said, Ronnie Spencer now, AD there, great things evolving and continue to evolve at Hartsburg-Emden. And 5 years, I don't know, Jen. I don't know. I think you may be retired, but then again, you may be wearing
my husband swears I'll never give it up. I swear that I will.
Are we taking bets on this?
I don't know. I think the over-under in Vegas might be high. I don't know. It sounds good right now. I guess we'll see in 5 years.
Or, you may be wearing that other hat of being an assistant, but I don't think you're ever, my personal view is, ever going to hang it up. I don't think so.
Hard.
It's so hard. It is, but you're so talented, and you have a lot to give, and you've been doing that. So
thank you.
Your life.
Is there any truth to the rumors that Ron Spencer replaced all the water jugs with Mountain Dew dispensers?
Well, I don't know. Every time I open my little fridge in there to get my bottle of water, it's pretty much Mountain Dew. So I guess if that's the magic serum, we're going to take it.
And if folks, you don't know what we're talking about, Ronnie Spencer, from growing up, both Jen and I grew up with Ronnie. He has been the biggest, as Lloyd knows too, Mountain Dew drinking fiend.
I think it's on his license plate.
His license plate's on the car too.
I have BB Coach 5. He has Mountain Dew. I don't know.
So anyway, well, folks, that does us for our time here on Viewpoint. The Lord and weather willing, we'll be back next week.
This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.